Presented by Listen Headlines, latest world news from trusted sources. Updating daily at 6 a.m. New York.
Washington Post World.
January 14. 5/11 America, New York, Tunisia's opposition to protest against president's rule. Opposition parties and others angry at Tunisia's economic crisis and the president's increasingly authoritarian drift are planning to march through the capital to mark 12 years since Tunisian protesters unleashed Arab Spring uprisings around the region.
Washington Post World.
January 14. 5:10 America, New York. Hong Kong Olympic Committee presses sports bodies to put China in names. Hong Kong sports groups risk losing funding and the right to represent the city if the directive is not followed.
New York Times World News.
January 14. 5:03 America, New York. Cooperation on climate is emerging in the Middle East. After the Abraham Accords, partnerships between companies in Israel and Arab countries have led to the kinds of initiatives that will be on the Davos agenda. Khalid Al-Hay, an ExecuJet Middle East board member, right, giving Rabbi Levi Dutchman a tour of the luxury jet charter services private terminal at Dubai International Airport.
New York Times World News.
January 14. 5 o'clock America, New York. As humanitarian crises escalate, so do demands to end them. David Miliband, head of the International Rescue Committee, says the global refugee crisis is manageable, not insoluble. Refugees from the Democratic Republic of Congo waiting for lunch at a transit center in Uganda in June. Mirror World News.
January 14. 4:41 America, New York. Circus audience gasps as acrobat falls from her hoop and plummets to ice rink below. Audience members at an event in Mexico could be heard gasping as the female acrobat landed awkwardly after losing her grip on the ring and plummeting more than 16 feet on January 10.
Fox World News.
January 14. 4:40 America, New York. Ali Reza Akbari. Iran executes former senior defense official over British spy claims. Iran executed Ali Reza Akbari, the country's former defense ministry official, by hanging after convicting him of being a spy for Britain's MI6 intelligence agency without evidence.
RT World News.
January 14. 4:23 America, New York. South American nation's president calls out foreign infiltrators. Peru's head of state, Dina Boluarte, is seeking a probe into the role of alleged provocateurs in recent deadly protests.
Mirror World News.
January 14. 4:12 America, New York. Jair Bolsonaro to be investigated by Brazil's Supreme Court over supporters' riot. On January 8, supporters of former President Jair Bolsonaro stormed the Three Powers Square in Brasília, Brazil, smashing windows and ransacking the Presidential Palace, National Congress and Supreme Court.
New York Times World News.
January 14. 3:47 America, New York. Explosions ring out in Kyiv after days of relative calm. Russian forces have targeted Kyiv, the Ukrainian capital, and other cities with missile and drone attacks off and on for months, devastating the power grid and forcing rolling blackouts. Kyiv, Ukraine, on Thursday.
RT World News.
January 14. 3:30 America, New York. Ex-Brazilian president to be investigated over riots. Jair Bolsonaro faces a probe after his supporters stormed government buildings. Brazil's Supreme Court approved a request from the Prosecutor General's office on Friday to investigate former President Jair Bolsonaro on suspicion of inciting riots in the capital.
Washington Post World. January 14. 3:18 America, New York. Ukrainian officials report Russian missile attack on Kyiv. A series of explosions has been heard in Kyiv and the air raid sirens were turned on.
World News. Breaking international news and headlines, Sky News.
January 14. 3:06 America, New York. Tortured, drugged, and forced to confess. Who was British-Iranian national executed in Iran? Iran has executed a British-Iranian national after accusing him of spying for the UK. Alireza Akbari.
Mirror World News.
January 14. 2:53 America, New York. Rishi Sunak calls Iran's barbaric execution of Brit national callous and cowardly. The execution of British-Iranian dual national Alireza Akbari on trumped-up charges of corruption and espionage came after Foreign Secretary James cleverly appealed to the Iranian regime not to proceed.
World News. Breaking international news and headlines, Sky News.
January 14, 2:34 America, New York. World's longest working DJ whose Beatles interview made him a celebrity dies. The world's longest working DJ who spun the wheels of steel over 6 decades has died aged 98. File, Ray Cordero, Hong Kong and AMP. Number 39. Oldest DJ displays records at his home in Hong Kong, Thursday, May 27, 2021.
Fox World News.
January 14, 2 o'clock America, New York. Rotting in Dubai. Family of American imprisoned in UAE says U.S. abandoned him for Brittany Griner. Zach Shahin, an American who has been rotting in a Dubai prison for 15 years, was abandoned by the U.S., his family says as they plead for mercy before his death.
https://globalnews.ca/feed/.
January 14, 101 America, New York. This is a test post. This is a test post. It is a trial to see if the system is working.
BBC News World.
January 14, 036 America, New York. Alireza Akbari. Iran executes British-Iranian dual national, state media says. Former Iranian minister Alireza Akbari was arrested in 2019 and convicted of spying for the UK.
World News. Breaking international news and headlines, Sky News.
January 14, 010 America, New York. British-Iranian national Alireza Akbari, executed in Iran, report. British-Iranian national Alireza Akbari, a former senior defense official in Iran accused of working for British intelligence, has been executed, according to Iran's state media. Alireza Akbari,